Modern Nomads is a weekly program about Kazakh compatriots who try to save Kazakh traditions for the current and next generations. And for those who are interested in the culture and history of ancient Kazakh nomads, watch us every week on Kazakh TV.
Could you please tell us about your family's heritage that is about this Kura kurpe, or scrapped quilt? Well, you see, the design and the shape of this kurak comes from my grandmother's. This kind of shape was made by our grandparents. It is a modern shape. You mean the heritage is this wooden box with the bedding and kurak in it? Yes, I do. The wooden box and bedding is the heritage of her grandmother and grandfather. The scrapped quilt, also known as Kurak, sewed by her grandmother, was large. Gulzakhan gave it a less small shape. Relatives came from Uzbekistan and they preserved the tradition of sewing the Kurak kurpe, the belts and also leather boots. The type of Kurak kurpe made in Mongolia and in China is special. Gulzakhan returned to her motherland in 2008. She's been expanding sewing of the Kurak kurpe with her teacher, Alima. She learned a lot of types of sewing of this Kurak kurpe. For example, what does this Kurak mean? May my daughter live friendly, happily with her new family and have a lot of children. So each Kurak or scrap has its own importance. Kilim Kurak means to wish your daughter a lot of children with her husband. Tırnak Katar is made to have the importance of being together in any situation. And this Kurak is stitched together. Keste Kurak holds the meaning of being a polite daughter-in-law. Our grandmothers sewed them with prayers of wishing for a clever and kind daughter-in-law. Gulzakhan was interested in sewing from her childhood. Who do you want to be when you were growing up? At first, I wanted to be a lawyer, but my mom disagreed with me. Leaving school at age 9, I went into sewing courses. I had studied there for 4 years, and then I began working.
Киім тігуден бастадым негізі. Любой фасонда.
I started by sewing clothes. I sewed them by customers' patterns. While studying, I learned all different types of fashions. In my 4th year of studying, I had some experiences as an atelier. I experienced a lot. I sewed everything myself, including taking measurements and shapes.
Өзім өлшеймін, өзім модель, өзім конструктормын, өзім андазы шығарып, өзім қиып, өзім тігем.
The master work is very attractive. It's a real creative activity. Various kinds of Kurak kurpe, or scrapped quilts, show the intelligence of the Kazakh people. For example, in the bride's trousseau, the Kurak kurpe, or scrapped quilt, has particular ornaments which would have importance in presenting some information about, for example, the bride's family and her upbringing. Every mother prepares her daughter's Kurak with great love.
Төсекті негізі ана құрайды. Перзентіне.
The bedding is prepared by the bride's mother. The mother sews it, wishing her daughter happiness in her new family. The daughter should then keep it and treasure it for the whole of her life. Sometimes to remember how much power her mother had, to waste and to respect, to keep it as the apple of her eye. It's considered to be the beauty of the room, and guests are seated upon it. The Kurak kurpe is made not only for decoration. They believe that the Kurak can save the host from the evil eye, as well as wish happiness for the family. The most important thing in their beliefs associated with the Kurak was keeping peace between the tribes. Alima's grandmother used to sew as well.
Бұл құрақтың ерекшелігі, бұл құрақ жылына неше жыл тұрса, сонша жыл бұның құны асады. Менің міне әжемнің әжесі қарағыздың құрақтары бүгін.
The cost of the Kурак gets higher if it is kept for a longer time. My great-grandmother, Karakoz's Kурак, has been kept for 150 to 200 years. My grandmother, Jamila, is 96 years old. She's since passed, unfortunately, but my mother, Turgankul's Kурак, is 70 years old. We are continuing their tradition. The Uzbeks are interested in our Kuraks. They say it's very special. When giving their daughters to marriage, they do not sew Kurak Kurpe. We must preserve our national traditions and understand them better. The Kurak is sewed in pairs, meaning you should always be together with your partner and not be alone. The triangular Kurak is significant because it signifies uniting three worlds. These three worlds are water, land, and air. The significance of this Kurak is the balance and union of these three worlds. The honeybee's nest is Alti Tabak, or 6 bowls. The meaning of it is said to have a sweet and luxurious life. Birds and animals can also be imaged on the cloth. During the Sakh generation, ornaments signifying couples and water were important. Nowadays, they get modernized according to the generation. The craft masters are improving them on other sides. My mother, Turgankul Nushatai Kaze, was a great Kurakshi. A Kurakshi is a person who sews Kurak Kurpe. Her mother, Jamila, was a Kurakshi for 69 years. Her mother, Karakoz, taught her to sew this Kurak. She gave her daughter, Jamila, some Kurak when she had gotten married. My mother, Turgankul, is 65 years old now. She gave me this Kurak when I had married. It's the line my grandmothers have drawn. They made Kilem Kurak, a scrapit carpet. They used the cloth of their time. Kilem Kurak is sometimes called Tirnak Qatar. Besides the bride's trousseau, Guljahan also sews clothes. The fashion series are for women of 2 types. First, she sews national clothing, sewed with various national ornaments. The second is more modern. They are summer, autumn, and winter clothes. The types of textures are silk, chiffon, and organza. They are soft and light to wear. The colors are also changed according to the season. The ornaments on the teenagers' clothes glitter and draw attention.
Кестемен тігілген костюм. Бұл ерекше өзінің
Embroidered costumes are with the images of flowers and ornaments on them. This is a new design of the costume.
Ескіше дизайнерде жаратылған костюм.
Гүлжаханды мен өте үлкен мықты бір шебер қыз ретінде таңдап алдым. Шебер қыздардың ішінде.
I chose Gulzahan as a master of her work. There are a lot of master girls in Uzbekistan, but she is a really gifted one. She doesn't even sleep until her work is finished. The girl will not be pleased if anything is wrong in her sewing. The girl got acknowledged with the types of details present in her textures. We call it the bride's trousseau. She learned not only to sew the bride's trousseau, she can also sew everything that any person could need. She is a master of sewing leather boots, winter clothes, as well as summer and autumn clothes.
Қысқы киім, жазғы киім, күзгі киім, соның барлығын тереңнен үйренген.
Plenty of girls who work as masters work in our enterprise. Sometimes competitions take place for being the best master. One of such masters is Botagoz. She is so creative, nobody can compete with her in embroidering. She took lessons of embroidering from her childhood. Her parents influenced her to go into the embroidering field. Her father, Muhammad Jan, is a great craftsman of Kazakhstan. The world of craft was in front of her. Botagoz dreamed and imagined everything by embroidering. Her father draws pictures, while her mother gave a life to his picture by embroidering.
Кішкентай кезімнен бастап өзім қызығушылық танытып, анамның жанынан шықпай, әкемнің жанынан шықпай, маған сызып бер, мен тігемін.
My interest was first stirred in my childhood because I was always around my dad, asking him to draw me something so that I could embroider it. I first tried my hand at embroidering when I was in the 6th grade. My dad gave me a drawing on a 20 by 30 sheet of paper, and I helped to choose a thread. From this time, I started taking part in different exhibitions. On the whole, my experience accounts for 5 to 10 years of my embroidering as a craftsman.
Шығармашылық тұрғыда айналысып жүргеніме бір 5-10 жылдың көлемі болды.
Ботагөз біздің жас, осындағы Қазақстанымыздағы танымалды шеберлердің ұрпағы.
Botagoz is of a generation of well-known masters in Kazakhstan. Botagoz's father is one of the most famous people in Kazakhstan. After we saw her work, she became a member of the public fund Altyn Köprü, or the Golden Bridge. Botagoz was the initiator of improving this craft. We have been working with her for not a very long time, but Botagoz, we can say for sure, is one of these gifted girls. I assume that she is going to be a great master. Botagoz wants to work with international designers. We are going to exhibit our works in London, England. She is also preparing her work.
Осы выставкамыз болады, көрмеміз болады. Соған жұмыстарын дайындап жатыр.
There are very few people who actually make embroidery in our country. The craft art is very popular nowadays, and most of the museums are filled. By this I mean specifically these Kurak kurpes, embroidered clothes, and bridal trousseaux. Knowing this, our relatives began working. We didn't have to go out looking for customers. They began coming to us one by one. The number of our customers is growing. Sewing is also very good for our health.
Менің ойымша, бұл кесте психологиялық тұрғыдан алған кезде адамның нервін тыныштандырады.
I think embroidery helps people to calm their nerves, to lift their mood, to be careful, patient, and cleanly. If we consider the history of the Kazakh people, we can say that this is a very rich tradition on all sides. A particular attention is now attracted to bringing up the younger generations in the field of embroidery. Now, I want to expand it. Now Botagoz and Guljahan both sew clothes. They are trying to renew this Kazakh craft.
Ботагөздің бір ерекшелігі, ескі қазақтарымыз қалай түскиіз жасалған. Соны бүгінгі ол шығарып отырады.
The specialty of Botagoz is in sewing the ornamental felts of the ancient Kazakhs. The ornamented felts are filled with power and energy. I like such types of mastercrafts. The goal of our public fund, Altyn Köprü, is to collect masters of their craft and organize seminar trainings, discussions, and introduce masters to the public. The saukele is the work of the master. It is a craft work of the ancient Kazakhs. It's the bride's headwear. The history of the name of the saukele is interesting. Our grandparents spent all their money for their daughter's marriage. They sold their horses in fairs. They even bought expensive clothing, jewelry, and golden stones. The cost of one saukele exceeded in price a herd of horses. Then the master sews the headwear. On the way to her fiancé's family, there were sometimes robbers who would catch the bride and take the saukele, as it was very expensive. When the parents of the fiancé saw the bride coming to their place, they would shout, "Saukele de," which means she is safe. So the word saukele appeared.
Бірінші бұларды тігердің алдында көп мағлұматтар жинадым. Ұзатылып бара жатқан қыздың болашақ бір қор ретінде есептелген екен. Себебі анасы ол қыз дүниеге келе салысымен
We collected detailed information before sewing. It was considered to be the fund of the bride. The girl's mother sewed the salkele when she was a child. Gold and silver were also used in the process of sewing it. If the bride is in a difficult situation in her new family, she will be able to sell the gold and silver from the salkele one by one. I tried to keep this technology, and here I added a fringe and coral, but there is no gold and silver. However, I did include antique jewelry. The most important thing I would like to show is the embroidery. Some people can think that it was made by a sewing machine.
Бәрі көргендер бұл машинкамен тігілген ғой дейді. Өзім ондай мысалы салыстыруға да келмейді да. Қазіргі көбісі киімге тігетіндер машинкалық тігістер болып кеткен. Теріден жасалынған.
A small enterpriser produces men's clothing, such as national chopin, embroidered shirts, leather belts, and boots, as well as felt boots.